During the war, women typically had three types of dresses that stood out: the hoop skirt, corset, and the morning dress. Every woman, no matter how rich or an occasion, would be wearing a corset under their clothing, for it was used to create an ideal body type. The hoop skirt was a dress supported by wire hoops underneath to make the dresses have greater width, and were sometimes even used to hide valuable belongings. Because of the immense number of deaths during the Civil War, many families, especially the women, were grieved by the deaths of their fathers, sons, and husbands, and therefore wore mourning dresses. All the men went to war, and they all wore matching uniforms according to which side they were on. The Union wore mostly blue, and the Confederates were attired in gray and various shades of brown. Young boys during the time wore sturdy and durable clothing that allowed them to do most of the daily hard work after their fathers had gone to war. And young girls wore small dresses and skirts which buttoned up to their necks. During the war, music was used to rally troops and raise spirits within their respective armies. Oftentimes, both sides would steal lyrics and tunes from the other. It was not uncommon for battles to stop midway for an impromptu concert. Music reminded soldiers of their homes and families, and helped to form a sense of unity among the troops. Women wanted to aid the men in the fight, so they would become nurses, spies, and would even disguise themselves as men to join the battle. Women became a more integrated part in society. They became involved in abolition movements, educational standings, and improving the legal rights of women after the men had left the war. To pass the time between their battles, the soldiers would play card games, such as poker or 21, and would even bet money or just play for fun. Soldiers would play athletic activities, such as leapfrog, wrestling, boxing, racing on foot, or an older version of baseball. Other times, they would play bowling with crude pins and use cannonballs as bowling balls. Sometimes, when the weather wouldn't permit them to escape from their quarters, they would form their own theater clubs inside the barracks. When it turned winter, the snow gave way to new activities such as sledding, ice skating, or having violent snowball fights with whole teams made of brigade soldiers where they would actually make plans of attacks on each other. New photographic technology allowed for taking pictures of the battle more quickly and efficiently. A vast amount of photos made their way to public newspapers and magazines, allowing the people to see the horrible carnage of war. With the increase in photos during the war, the public view on war changed, and soldiers who were taken out of the fight early were able to witness the ugly aftermath of war clearly. A lot of poetry written during the war supported unity and a call to arms for the soldiers. Although a new type of poetry was increasingly becoming popular, they talked and showed the grim reality of the carnage in war. This new type of poetry also helped memorialize the deaths and sacrifices of soldiers, and gave meaning to their lives, and also connected the soldiers to the people and family they left at home. Another type of poetry that arose during the war was poetry about women, and how they could contribute to the war even if they couldn't fight. More poetry also included the call for national songs and anthems. The founder of the Red Cross was a woman named Clarissa Barton. The Red Cross was founded on May 21st, 1881 in Washington, D.C. She became a teacher when most teachers were men and was one of the first women employed within the federal government. She risked her life carrying supplies to soldiers and raised a strong example of volunteering, which allowed her to create the Red Cross at the age of 60. Her complete and utter devotion to helping others in distress allowed her to accomplish much more than anyone could in several ordinary lifetimes, which also inspired others to do the same. The Red Cross helped both Union and Confederate soldiers during the Civil War. Barton ran the Red Cross for 23 years until she resigned in 1905.